Reporters are back in the Turkish capital tonight. Well, our team of reporters are there too, as Leeds United prepare to take on Besiktas in the Champions League.
In a moment, we'll be hearing from Michelle G, who's been with that small band of United fans who've made the trip. But first, let's join Calendar's John Shires.
Thanks very much and welcome to the Inonu Stadium, perched on the banks of the Bosphorus and once described by the Brazilian legend Pelé, no less, as the most beautiful in the world. Well, the Besiktas fans are already arriving here, hoping to see their side avenge a 6-0 defeat just 3 weeks ago. For the Leeds fans, for the team and their officials, well, their thoughts inevitably will drift a little bit further back in time. Taksim Square today, no evidence of the horrors of 6 months ago, but what happened here has not been forgotten. Indeed, many regard it as a national embarrassment.
We are so sorry. We didn't want, but did what we can do. But this time you will see everything will be good. Don't worry.
The world is like a forest. You can find good flower and the bad flower. Everywhere is the same, you know.
Here, as in Leeds, images of the violence are still fresh. Yet amongst some English observers, there remains a suspicion that the wheels of justice are grinding exceedingly slowly. Of the 20 men originally arrested in connection with the deaths of Christopher Loftus and Kevin Spate, following numerous court appearances and adjournments, only one, whose knife bore traces of the blood of both murdered men, remains in custody. But according to the British Consul General in Istanbul, that's simply a reflection of the different legal system in Turkey.
I am pretty well convinced that the trial is moving along in the way that one would expect it to take.
And justice will be served in the end?
One would hope that justice will be served at the end. One would hope that justice will be seen to be done in this case.
A view shared by the lawyer appointed to look after the interests of Christopher Loftus's family during the trial.
They will be penalised, I'm sure of that. And I'm sure that we will do our best so that justice is done. It would have been exactly the same if the victims were two Turkish citizens. There could have been no other changes. You can be sure of that.
Amongst the tight security surrounding the team and the huge media interest the return visits created, it's all too easy to forget that this is just another game of football. As the team trained last night, manager David O'Leary was keen to stress that neither this nor the clash in Leeds last month should be seen as a national grudge match.
I'd have to say that against Besiktas at Ellen Road, it wasn't a case of it was England against Turkey and it was vital for England to stuff. That I just felt that I myself and the players, with the Champions League game, we wanted to win it.
But this time, everyone's convinced it won't be so easy for Leeds.
Hopefully we are going to beat, hopefully, but Leeds is a good team as well. But I don't think they are going to be lucky as they were last time.
Besiktas always wins or not lost match in Istanbul.
The thoughts there of the Besiktas fans who've been queuing here behind me to get into the ground seemingly for hours. But what of the Leeds supporters? Well, they've been discouraged from coming here independently to the extent that anyone found making their own way here will be thrown into jail and then deported. But an official party has been allowed to come and Michelle G has been with them.
There was a fairly low-key atmosphere at Leeds Bradford Airport this morning as the 150 fans travelling with the official one-day trip set off for Istanbul.
I suppose we could have done without this trip, to be honest with you, but yeah, we're looking forward to it, yeah, day out to Istanbul.
Last time we travelled independently and we saw no trouble at all, you know, we had a good time. But as I say, this time, you know, it's best to be safe and we're quite happy to be going on the day trip.
I think people have thought we've got 3 trips, Milan, Barcelona and Besiktas. Everyone wants to go to the glamour ties, so that's the reason you've only got probably 140 people going.
Security in Istanbul was tight. Turkish police were taking no chances, but their counterparts from West Yorkshire, who've been in the city for several days, weren't anticipating trouble.
Every effort's been made from the British police part. That seems to have been very, very well received by our colleagues here, and I'm extremely hopeful.
A slight delay on their arrival. Leeds fans stayed on the plane whilst the Galatasaray team arrived after their game against Rangers. A plan by both clubs meant after formalities, the Leeds fans were ushered straight through the airport towards waiting coaches. Leeds United chairman Peter Ridsdale was on hand to greet fans. Their spirits high, their feelings mixed.
A bit emotional, really. I mean, when I was out there, didn't see no trouble whatsoever. Didn't find out till we came down to breakfast on the Thursday morning.
That's right, not much has happened so far. You just want the game to go off in peace, Leeds to win the 3 points and take them home, ready for the next phase.
The The Leeds fans will be coached directly here to a nearby marina where they'll get on a boat trip that'll take them along the Bosphorus, dropping them near to the stadium. The aim to keep them off the streets of Istanbul and safe.
Michel G reporting. By the way, although the police are clearly leaving nothing to chance, just take a look at the numbers of them behind me. So far there have been no reports of trouble, and quite frankly the atmosphere here is a great deal less intimidating than it was for the Galatasaray game 6 months ago, all of which will come as a considerable relief to the Leeds chairman Peter Ridsdale, who, when I spoke to him earlier, stressed to me the importance of bridge building here this week.
Well, I think that the game at Elland Road, and obviously since we've arrived in Istanbul, everybody's got out of the way to demonstrate that what happened in April must be put behind us, and we must look forward to a sporting occasion tonight. You know, this is all about football. UEFA is all about friendship in football, and so far so good.
It is very difficult though. How do the players actually cast everything out of their mind and get on with the job?
Well, it's easy for me to say, but frankly I think that that's what they're paid to do. They were to some degree shielded from events here in Istanbul. Obviously they weren't shielded from the aftermath and the problems that occurred obviously once the emotional outpouring took place. But it is a job that they have to do. They demonstrated at Elland Road they're absolutely capable of doing that, and I think tonight they've got to go out there and be professional yet again.
6-0 back at Elland Road. It's not going to be that easy again, is it?
No, it's not. I mean, that was a one-off for all sorts of points of view. I think we were on top of our form, and it would appear that perhaps they were slightly intimidated by the occasion. It'll be very different in their own stadium tonight.
We shall see. Thanks very much for talking to us.
It's a pleasure.
Well, we'll see, and so can you, incidentally, because the whole game is live here on Yorkshire Television tonight. The programme starts at 7:30. But now, from thankfully a peaceful Istanbul, it's back to the studio.
Yes, our thanks to John and to Michelle, of course. Well,